Afrofish OG. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 25, which is a quarter of 100. That's what that is. I don't know why I stopped at that point, but that's just the thing we did today. So I kind of lost my train of thought. But I appreciate you all being here. This is I didn't think I was gonna make it to 25. I just started making these in the seasons. You know what I mean? Like I should be like season 1, season 2, you know. I should make my own OVA. I'm like, I don't even know how the fuck to do that.
He's cooking.
I gotta make like an anime version of the podcast and shit like that. That'd be so cool. Like
that would be sick.
That would be sick.
You have a new fan in me.
I'm glad because today we have Nate, the Tavernkeeper, as my special guest today. So how is it going, my guy? I see that your gourd is still there.
I'm farming aura. Let me farm. All right. All right.
You guys know that it doesn't have sand in it? Isn't that crazy? Like
once again, it's just water.
just saying, okay. Like it's not like Piccolo level of aura. Like
I can't reach that level of aura.
I don't think anybody can.
Dog, the way he would show up with the cape do-rag fit with the arms folded, cape
always like this. Like,
on a planet with like no wind, that cape billows in the wind. Like I don't know how that.
My favorite of him aura farming is actually in the Broly movie.
Me too.
Where I'm like, there's nobody around you.
First off, I know he's about to get his ass kicked. Like I know this.
My favorite about that is the fact that like he's using. I'm like, you're using telepathy. You could be anywhere else. Like
literally anywhere else.
But I'm like, I'm not gonna lie though. I love. That's why I like Piccolo.
You're talking about the new Broly movie, right?
Yeah, the new one.
Okay, yeah.
Where he's just kind of just standing there talking to Goku, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just here." Like Goku should be like, "What are you doing there? Like, were you here this whole time?" Like,
bro would just be chilling on the lookout. He just be chilling, really. Like,
I don't know why he like. I think you know what? I don't care. I don't care why. Because it's cool.
He literally just chills to run fade. Like that's it. I'm farming aura till I run fade.
I mean, anybody else who sits in the chats too. If you guys are in here on TikTok, on Twitch, anywhere, let me know. Does Piccolo have the greatest aura? Like the greatest aura farmer, I should say. Is he the biggest aura farmer, or have we finally been superseded by other characters? Like that's my question for the live stream today. Hope you guys are all doing well today. I see a couple of you all sitting there on YouTube on the new portrait style. So this one also, so everyone else to know too, there is a new portrait style as well. So you can off your phone, and also other ones like the landscape one that you typically can watch over on YouTube as well. I think I put my Twitch on a portraits one, so if you guys are watching that off of there, it's like really small for like no fucking reason. It's in portrait mode, so I got to get that fixed up. But I'm sorry, I have talked way too much. It's been 4 minutes, and let me get you in on here. I want to know all about you because all about you. You're on my other side.
Yeah, you're over here for me.
Yeah.
So, Nate the Tavernkeeper. That's me. I'm a streamer. I stream six days a week. Usually the 3 of those times is going to be late at night, only for about an hour. And then a day like today, I'm actually streaming today, and I stream for about 3 or 4 hours, like a few hours after this stream, after this. But outside of that, right, I do have a day job. I have a regular thing that I go to. I'm not going to go into the specifics of how that works or anything, but yes. And I classify as a small streamer. I usually get anywhere from 6, maximum of like 15 people, I think, at one point. But sometimes that's kind of how I prefer it, keep things small, manageable, things of that nature. Wouldn't mind getting bigger, but I'm cool where I'm at too. For my streams, the format is usually I spend about 10 to 15 minutes of yapping. I just sit like yap for about 10 to 15 minutes about stuff that is important to me. You're gonna find that these days I'm fairly political. You know, I talk about the racism, the white supremacy. I talk about misogyny, patriarchy, all those things, right? And I welcome new points of view all the time whenever I can. I like getting nuance in my conversations and everything. But yeah, that's what I do for the first 10 to 15 minutes of the stream, and then it's the rest of it. Right now, I'm playing Mass Effect. You know, N7 Day was recent and everything. But I plan to move on to Clair Obscur and other games as well. Just kind of how the wind blows and everything. But whatever stream wants, stream gets. If they say, "Hey, we want you to play, you know, Among Us with us," I'll do it. We want you to play Uno. Now, if you get me to play Uno, I'm gonna fight somebody. I'm gonna go to your house and I'm gonna fight somebody. You know, but
That's fair.
but
That's fair. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's fair. Like I'm you know when it comes to like games like Uno, I am one that I am fine with, but we are not playing by Uno rules. Like
we're not.
You play by the rules. If you play a draw 2
House
and then
rules.
I play a draw 2, that next person gets hit.
Yep. Right.
I don't play Uno like you if you draw 2, you instantly get a draw. No, I don't play that. I don't play that shit.
I have played like 4 different variations of Uno, and all of them have made me angry at some point. Sitting in a room with people, just mad. Like, how dare you hit me with 3 draw 4s? And I just because I said Uno, just one word makes you. I have to fight you now. Like this is the only. I don't actually fight people. I don't actually fight people. I'm not that kind of gamer. I don't throw my controller across the room.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That's a video game. If we talking about the card game, it's a different story. Like
fair,
because there's tension in the air. You can't escape. Like
right,
your legs versus my legs.
I gotta look across the room at you like you really just did that to me. Like
you know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm the type of person who also kind of takes it like I take some games kind of personal, when I really shouldn't. Okay, like there's some games that I don't take seriously. I play a lot of Tekken 8. I've been playing a lot of Tekken 8, getting into Tekken 8.
Fighting games, yes,
absolutely love it. Right, I absolutely love it. Same with Smash Bros. I'm a huge Smash Bros fan. Like you'll catch me playing a lot if my Switch wouldn't overheat every fucking 30 minutes. But the thing is that I'm kind of a petty motherfucker.
Me too.
I am. Like,
me too.
For example, there's always a fun story I say where I was playing with against my friend's kid, and she was only like she's only like 9 at the time, and so we're playing Injustice, you know, and Injustice 2, and I like Injustice 2. I don't know if anybody else like Injustice 2. I like Injustice 2.
It's all right, okay?
Yeah. So she's playing. I think it was as like Wonder Woman or Cheetah. She loved Cheetah, and I was playing as Harley Quinn, which is funny. Ironically, I actually don't care for Harley Quinn as a character. I really don't. But she's good in that game. So I was like, fuck it. And so we're just kind of playing and I'm kind of dinking around, you know, and she gets like 1 stock on me and she's like, "You're really bad." I took that personally. Like and we see it just to ping pong her character.
Your career's over.
You know, it was so worth it. I don't give a fuck what it says. It was worth it. Like
honestly, I would have responded in the same way. But like I'm more of a Street Fighter guy. I get into Tekken every now and then, only when the homie comes through to embarrass me, of course. But yeah, but competitive games make me into a petty person. I preach all this stuff about community and we should really be helping each other and all, but when it comes to my fighting games or really any competitive scene, I'm gonna get a little toxic. I'm gonna get like if I don't like bad winners. Okay, you're already beating me. Please don't make fun of me. I'm trash. I know.
That's
and see what am I supposed to point to be better than you? But my stats, I'm obviously getting ratioed in that regard. I can't do that. So now I gotta attack you personally. Yeah, that's why your mama should have swallowed you. Like that's me. That's me. I can't help it. Okay. Yeah. You may. You know what? You may be 12-1, but I went 12-1 with your mama. Like it's always your mom. Like I'm a 12-year-old at heart. I can't help it. You know.
That shit's funny. Like I am the same. Like I try to be very cordial and like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I was playing Mindful. I was actually playing Mindful in Tekken, and I lost 24 times back to back. But you know what? I came in knowing that I was not nearly as good, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
We've all had that opponent, right? The one that we formed this unspeakable bond with, probably at 2 or 3 a.m. and you're just playing, and they're the only one up. You keep on, for some reason, you keep running into them on the ranked mode, on whatever. Right? I've had that where it was in Street Fighter 4, and I was playing as Akuma, and this guy was, not only was he destroying me on his main character, he went through 7 other different characters. And it wasn't because he was just good on all of those characters. It's because he was in my head already, over and over again, and I couldn't get him out of it. Right?
That's fair. That happens. That happens.
And he could read me like a book. And no words were spoken, no words were exchanged at all until the very end, where he said, "GG's, bro," and that was it. That was the whole interaction.
That happens.
Fighting with him for probably 2.5 hours. And that's all it was like. And by the end of that, I realized, yeah, he was definitely in my head. I need to learn how to play against different opponents in different ways, instead of sticking to a scripted way of playing against an opponent. This is universally true, not just in fighting games, but in most games, right? Recently, I'm playing Marvel Rivals on Saturdays with my friends and everything, and I've learned that I like playing Black Panther. I love playing that character, but because I can't adapt, right? Because I didn't adapt, just because I got Lord on the character, but I was still getting mollywopped, getting beaten, because people would change to characters. They would change to the Thing or Emma Frost to counter me, or Penny, right? All these characters to counter Black Panther, and I wasn't adapting, right? I was just going in there doing my same combo, right? Still haven't gotten better. Still haven't figured that out. Sometimes it's just difficult to do that, but that's games generally, especially competitive games. While they do they bring out this toxicity that I don't like to address all that much. They also help me learn and go outside of my comfort zone.
They do, and that's something as well. Is the one thing I love about games is, especially fighting games, is there's a level of accountability you need to have when it comes to playing fighting games, because you might think you are good against the CPU, and that means nothing against a human opponent.
Absolutely, fuck all. Yes.
When I'm playing, I play Brian in Tekken, and
okay,
for him to find the only reason why I was playing them is because this guy was like hyping him up, right? Like, it was last year, actually, ironically. I went to Colossal Con North, which is in Wisconsin Dells. It's an anime convention. And last year, this dude was like, yeah, I play Brian because he gets better. If your opponent plays sloppy, Brian's really good at playing. Like, he forces you to play technically sound. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. So when I finally got it and I played him, and then I actually had another person that I was playing. The last time I played Tekken Online, time before that, I guess, he actually helped me learn, like, remap my button controls and all the other kind of stuff. And he was like, yeah, Brian's one of the hardest characters to learn. Like, because he's strong, he's got a lot of combo moves. But like he hits like a truck too. So, but it's like you just got to know how the counter picks and know the other characters and all the other kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know how to play Brian. So like, it is in general, I'm just getting my ass whooped.
Yeah.
But like, as I've been playing, I've been slowly playing better and better. And it's fun. I love watching. It's almost like, in a way, it's like an out of body, where you're watching yourself through playing, getting better.
Yes.
As you're playing. And it's fun. And when your opponent is getting nervous. I was playing against one a couple nights ago. No, was it last night or night before? Night before. And it was funny because we were playing. He played. I think her name's like Alina or something like that. I don't remember. She's
Alina,
like this like dancer or whatever.
Yes.
And so there's times in there we're not talking to each other, but there's times where her character starts dancing. So I just start crouching, like, just sitting there crouching the entire time while they're doing the dance, and then we start fighting. And it's that kind of
camaraderie.
No words, it's just fun. And like, when you connect like that, I find it the most enjoyable, because that is like, yes, was that person good? Yeah, they were good. Like they were really fun to play. But it was doing that kind of stuff, and we ended up playing for like 30 minutes. It's just
same thing. Super Street Fighter 6, right? I played Jamie, right? In the opening of a Jamie on Jamie mirror, like whenever I'm fighting another Jamie, it alleviates so much of the competitive stress when they pull out that gourd, because Jamie has a gourd functionality, right? Where he, similar to what I have, a gourd, he pulls it out and he drinks, and he gains more power, a little more speed, few more moves, right? They pull out the gourd and they just start drinking it, and then I'm like, oh, we're playing this at full strength, and then we both drink on screen at the beginning of the match, like, oh, so yeah, all right, we're not that sweaty. We're sweaty, but we ain't sweating today. Like, okay, cool. Like, just those, and it's unspoken, by the way. No messages sent, nothing. Like, just from the jump. Like, hey, it's all jokes here. It's all cool. Like, it doesn't have to be stressful every time you go into a competitive match. That's an issue I have going into any competitive scene. By the way, I get those competitive jitters at first when I first start, but then like as I play more, it like alleviates, and now I'm in the game more, right? So a bit of, I guess you could call it, performance anxiety or like test anxiety or whatever, but like it's one of those things, right? When gamers in game alleviate the stress of like, we sweating, like this is what we do, like I can't play with gamers like that all the time. I can't.
No, not. And there's a time and place for it. Like
exactly.
when I was at the anime convention, I had played a Super Smash Bros. Tournament, and I went in there being like, okay, I'm gonna try my best. I played K. Rool, and that was the first one I played with, and I lost. I actually lost losers round 3. I took 17th out of 39, so not bad for returning to a tournament after so long. And I had like it was fun, but I was just getting in that mode where the first one, like my first win, I 3-stocked the guy, and it was like he hit like it was like 57% of damage on me. He was playing Meta Knight, and he couldn't hit me no matter what he was doing. And I sat there, and I kind of like he finished. He didn't really say anything. He just kind of got up and left, and I just kind of like so I was like, I feel bad. Like
you didn't have to do him like that.
Yeah, like I didn't, but it was in a tournament setting, so I was like, I'm gonna lock in right away. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So in my next round, I played Yoshi. So I played Yoshi after my K. Rool didn't work. I was like, I'm gonna just play Yoshi, and so I played against another Yoshi, which it wasn't too rare. I've never really actually had a Yoshi mirror match before.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, and it's funny because I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the dude anyways, and like no clue he's my opponent next to me. So like, as soon as we're like, all right, we go, he's like, oh, looks like it's you and me, and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do this. And so the Yoshi dittos were super fun. Like it was one of those because we both have different styles, but I like when it came down to it, I'm more technically sound than he is. And it was a really fun. I actually had a moment where I thought I beat him. I was like, I hit him off ledge. That's it. And he came back, and I was like, my brain's like, all right, we are not losing this. Like, I can't lose here. There's 3 Yoshi players. I will not be the first one out. So I ended up beating them.
Yeah.
It was a really good match. And then I lost the next one because I ended up tossed myself off ledge on accident.
Yikes.
And I was facing against a DDD player, and the DDD player, I struggle with DDD. I don't know if there's that's, and this is where I actually I have a video coming up about this. If anybody else if they're in the chat too, let me know. If there is just a character in a fighting game you just struggle, it doesn't matter it doesn't feel like it matters who's really playing them. I just struggle against them. I don't know if it's their play style. I don't know if it's just a bad matchup, but they are like, oh, I'm gonna play a character like DDD, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. I can kick the shit out of any other character except for Lucas. I struggle against like Lucas, but like, it's like for some reason this fucking penguin, it just is the bane of my existence. And I got down to where it was 1 stock each. Like I was fully locked in. This is probably the most I've been locked in, like playing a game like this in years. And my fat ass fingers, I slipped my finger. It was supposed to hit. It was supposed to be a down A, like a down A. So like Yoshi does like the kick thing. It
He
was a
does.
down B, and I jumped over him and dropped. And I sat there and I just stared.
You
And
remember the exact sequence of events. That's how I know it's painful.
I called it too before it even I even said, as soon as I hit the fucking button, I'm like, no, and I jumped and I sat there, and the dude looked, he's like, I feel so bad. So we eventually, like, I was hoping we'd be able to run it back later on, but at that point I didn't really see him again, so I was kind of like, all right, you know what, maybe next year, you know what I mean?
Is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. What's good, Strider? Hope you're having a fantastic day today. But I don't know if you've ever had that. Have you ever had like a character that you're just like, dude, I don't know what the fuck it is with this guy, but like I struggle with them.
Let's see. A character that I've struggled with in a fighting game. All right. So this is gonna seem strange because he's literally in like every iteration of the game almost. Kazuya from Tekken.
Kazuya?
Like because and the main reason being, right, I've been playing Tekken since Tekken 2, right? Played Tekken 1 after I played Tekken 2. Then
Oh
like
wow.
I've played every iterative version. 3, 4, 5, like at some point. And I never played it like super well. Like I think I was most into Tekken 5, right?
Okay.
And from there I kind of fell off. But my homie, no matter which character I picked, right? He always picked Kazuya. And he was always just a little bit better than me. There were times where I could like steal a win, right? But our record still stands. I'm pretty sure it's in his favor, like 80-20.
Oh wow.
Like it's pretty solid in his favor, and he always beats me with Kazuya. I don't care if you got a Kazuya counter pick, like I can't definitively beat him when he's on Kazuya. And Tekken 5 was when I was most able to beat him because I would pick Jin, and we were like 50-50. I'd say
Wasn't
like
Jin basically the same technique as Kazuya?
in Tekken 5, that's where his style kind of veered away from I think the Mishima
Oh, okay.
Ryu. He had more of his own style. It was a mixture of Jun Kazama's old style and a little bit of
I don't remember much of Tekken's storyline. So is that his mom, right?
That's his mom. Yeah,
Okay.
his mother's style mixed with some of the power of the Mishima Ryu, which is Kazuya's style or Heihachi style if you're being technical. But yeah, like every time Kazuya. And sometimes he would appear as a boss character, and even like my homie wasn't even playing him, I'd still hate the character. Like this guy just he just like we threw him in a volcano 6 different times. Like why isn't he like just stay dead? Like we don't really need him in every game. Now they gonna put him in every game. Like of course he's like the forever rival of his own son, which is crazy to me, right? But yeah, it's gonna be in a fighting game. It's gonna be Kazuya.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And what's funny is Kazuya, my friend plays Kazuya a lot. So like I know, and getting better because I'm starting to understand like frame data. I'm starting to understand it on a much more technical level. When you start realizing that fighting games are literally just math, like, and it's crazy in that ways because it's like when I face against him, a lot of the times like he will kind of, I don't want to play. He plays trash way, I guess. I don't know, trash
Okay.
Kazuya, but it's like he'll do like the little his spin kick thing. But then like I've learned now, it's like okay, cool, mid block, low block, boom, boom, jab. I'm gonna start going. I start figuring out the way to play against him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like I know the moves just about as well as he does now. So it's fun in that regards. Like I
Yes.
love the fact of there's like I mentioned before, there's something fun about just learning. Like your
Yes.
body's naturally learning. Your mind's like, okay, I can't do this, during this time. If I go for a left hook, he's gonna counter it. That's what he's done the last couple times. And I love that. But
Like
I will say another thing I really love about Street Fighter and Tekken, they do this really, really well, is I love how they bring back people from around the world.
yes.
Like, because I don't know about y'all, but for anybody else who's probably in the chat and probably know too, when Eddie Gordo first showed the fuck up,
Man, Tekken 3.
like I was like,
Yes.
who the fuck is this dude?
Like when Eddie showed up and then like he had his that funky ass little beat to him and he was dancing around, like Now, granted, when I first picked up Eddie, right, everyone was spamming his kicks, right? We like that was obviously what a lot of
Oh,
us
the
were
windmill
doing.
kick, that windmill kick thing you do
Yeah,
over and over.
but when he first came out, like I saw that kind of representation and like all those like and not just in Tekken, right? But like in Street Fighter's doing this now more recently, you know, with how it's literally bringing fighters from across the world so that people from across the world can identify and see representation in this way. That's important
It is.
in any regard, right? I would never know in the Street Fighter community, the fighting game community, I would have never known who Mena RD is, right?
Mm.
Okay, this kid, I call him a kid. I'm in my 30s. Okay, he's in his mid 20s, right? This guy, right? Fighting game legend, fighting with folks that I regularly knew about, fighting with Justin Wong and Daigo and like old school legends, Alex Valle, all these fighting like at their level at such at a younger age with those fresh takes on fighting games and everything, like seeing that this kid's from the Dominican Republic, you know,
Yeah.
like from across the world, like would have never known about that but when fighting games branched out and created these characters that were more identifiable, more palatable to other regions of the world, I feel like that helped us reach out to other regions of the world. There's a fighting game scene in every country.
Yeah,
Every country.
Street Fighter I think does it the best.
Yes,
Agreed.
agreed.
I think Street Fighter does the best. Tekken also does it very well. Like, you know, you're bringing in people. I do like characters, obviously, like Jin, all them. But then, like, I love seeing characters like Raven, Master
Yes.
Raven. Like,
Ooh, yes.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I love the black representation, but I'm not gonna lie, Raven, you couldn't look at and immediately think like, when I first saw Raven, I was like, this is Ninja Blade.
As you were saying it, I'm like, he's gonna say Blade.
It's Ninja Blade. So like, it was just like, that's so cool. And then I found out like Master Raven on top of it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for black women with dreads. I'm a sucker for black
bro.
Dreads. But like,
you're in good
company. when I saw it, I was like, this is so cool. Like, she's awesome. He's awesome. I love the fact that, you know, it's Eddie. I love that they go all over the place. You know, one of my favorite characters is Paul Phoenix, man. Like, Paul Phoenix, I love Paul Phoenix. He's like,
they put a big goofy American, like they gotta be the goofy one. You know, yeah. I mean, there's a few Americans there, but like the big goofy one.
Like, I loved him. I loved like Steve Fox. I love him.
Yes.
I'm not a religious person, but if God is a black man, he looks like fucking Leroy.
Yeah, nah, like when Leroy first came out, it wasn't just the fact that it was a practitioner from freaking the Bronx, like the streets, you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't just that. He was like actually a problem. I'm not so well versed in the Tekken community like that, but when he first came out, like he was a real problem. Like people didn't know how to play against him, but everyone was playing with him. Like everyone was using him. Like he had crazy counters, you know, all kinds of ways to get out every situation. Like he was very difficult. Like I like it when folks that look a little bit like me get a little bit of shine in the fighting game community. They're just a little bit broken. I like that. Okay, yeah. I like that. All right.
That's right.
I'm not against everyone else. I'm just for my people. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just yeah.
No, I loved it, and I thought he was so. Like, I thought he was just like the look, like from like that beard that looked. I'm like, this. I sat there and I was like, this is the most unattainable black man I've ever seen in my entire life.
Like, and like he's an older man, but like I still feel like women would throw themselves at him.
Oh yeah, no, like they like he
aura. Yeah,
he walks into the room and everybody like it turned. It's like the watching all the other animals bow to Mufasa. Like, I was like, this is what it feels like if he walks into the room.
Exactly like that.
I'm like, I need to lose weight and I need to keep myself healthy so I can like one day. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to with my hair's not gonna be able to. I gotta do one of them. I gotta do one of them things where I can get my hair in. You know what I mean? Like my hair grow to whatever.
Look, get your beard looking right. You'll have the same aura. Okay.
Right. So and you know, and so yeah, I don't want to look like Leroy's like cracked out cousin. Like I just like that.
You said it, not me, man.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Like there's Leroy and then there's me, armchair quarterback Leroy, you know, who just sitting there like, hey, yeah, I could have done that. Man,
yo, man, don't make me
I
laugh
was
at you
so
like that.
good in my prime. Y'all have no fucking clue.
Not the high
Like,
school one. What? Look, man, if Leroy hadn't got all the shine, I'd
who
have
taught Leroy? Who taught him everything he
I
knew?
was here day one. I was
I
in the
don't
trenches
know.
with him. I was the original.
Yeah,
All right.
I was the original. Like he like watches someone else fight and he's like, hey, that Yoshi Matsu, he got nothing. When if he would have saw me when I was in my
No.
early 20s, you know, I would have ping that sword. Like,
Meanwhile, bro ain't made one Tekken tournament, not one.
right? No, exactly. He hasn't made. He's like, hey, Jay, have you signed up for the King of Fighter? I would have, but I like twisted my knee in 8 places back in Nam. He's like, but you weren't even in Nam. It was kind of like Nam, but it was
a little bit. It was overseas somewhere.
Yeah, it was somewhere. It was like somewhere over in the Australias. But like
this man couldn't pay the tournament fee.
this man couldn't pay the tournament fee.
He broke.
Like,
he couldn't pay the tournament fee.
I could have paid the fee, but you know, I had a couple, expenses I needed to take care of.
My bad knee. I had to get a surgery on my knee.
Yes, it was a lot of surgeries, like on this knee, on this arm, and then the child support kicked in.
Not the child, bro. Your kids don't talk to you. No, I'm kidding. All right, let me stop. The stereotype's getting
like,
worse and
his
worse.
name is like something super off, like fucking like Dakin or something. You're like,
right.
bro,
it's
like
Jamelia Quist or something, or I don't know.
It's like, my name's Dakin. Isn't your name David? Legally, yeah, but like,
but folks in the streets call me
Dakin. The street.
Man, that's
like
the street cred for
okay, so I used to work with teenagers, right?
Yeah.
And it was so stupid. We had this one kid, he's scrawny, probably looked like he was like 100 pounds, like soaking wet. And like, he's from Minneapolis, don't mess with him kind of thing. Honestly, I had a soft spot for him. He's actually he was a good kid. Like, he was one of those, like, don't fuck with me. He's like, you remember what they called me? They called me white boy. And I was like, they called me white boy in the streets. I'm like, is it because you a white boy? Like, I don't think that's as viable as you make it out to be. I don't know. I've never lived in that kind of area, so maybe that's something. But like, if one of them called him like, well, like, bro, you know what they call me? Black guy with glasses. Like, I don't think that, bro, really.
They call me Big Afro.
Yeah, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say about that later.
Your observation skills are really keen.
Right.
I do, like, in fact, have a big old afro, but
like, I don't want to be mean, but when like you were developing all your stat points when you're in the womb, intelligence was not one of them.
Hey man, a lot of points in the charisma, great for that. But the intellect, man. Sheesh.
Fucking exactly. So,
Bro,
no, and that's why, like I said, I love seeing the representation of other characters from around the world. I think it's really, really cool. I think, honestly, like, no bullshit, I think it's really interesting. I think people enjoy it. Of course, there's gonna be the fucking losers who are like, well, they have to, and I'm like, because it's not about you.
We were talking about this earlier, and I'm gonna bring it up, right? Representation is key for that reason. I want those losers to feel that. I want them to feel that and get used to that feeling. Because why do they have to be here? Well, why do y'all got to be everywhere? Why
do y'all care?
Really, honestly, and this is why if you look at a lot of my content, I'm talking political because I'm drawing that line. I'm saying, if this is the way you're really gonna think, like, if you really think that these issues that I am talking about are unimportant and at worst, right? They don't affect you, and you actually do think that, for whatever reason, you're part of the superior race or that black people are inferior. I don't want you here, because it's very clear in our media, right, that representation doesn't make us lesser. It actually makes us better as a community, right? Our differences are what kind of make us pretty strong, right? More versatile. That representation is important in any community, not just the gaming community, not just the nerd communities. And and like I said, it shows in our games. Whenever
Mhm.
it like clockwork. Whenever there is a woman as the main character, you can look at the comment section, and it'll be, you know, fairly positive at first. But there's always going to be someone who disparages there being a woman just because it's a woman, just because she happens to own a different set of genitals, and
Mhm.
that kind of stuff that makes us lesser, that makes us weaker when we
It does.
deny people space to be great and to shine and to do well. It's the same,
Mhm.
and that goes across the board, not just for women, especially black women in my eyes, right? Um, black people, right? Folks all across the world. We're stronger together when we are inclusive.
Yes.
You know, if you, and by the way, if these jokers really, let's just face it, it's is white dudes. If they really wanted to, they could find all the representation of themselves anywhere if they really wanted to look for it. It's the problem is they're obsessed with keeping us out of things. They're obsessed with us. That's what I really it's sure it's born of hatred or ignorance, stupidity, fear, whatever, but really it's an obsession. That's why when we do create our spaces for just us, or when we do create our games that they go and tell us to create, if you don't like it, make your own game, and then we do make our own game, and then they come into our space and tell us
South
that
of
our
Midnight.
South of Midnight, perfect example,
South of
a
Midnight.
game y'all were never gonna play to begin with, and y'all came into our space to tell
It's
us it was
great
bad.
too.
By the way, amazing game, played all the way through it twice.
Yeah, it's great. I loved South of Midnight.
Amazing, like the only critique I would have, right? The only reason this game is not a perfect 10, yeah, the gameplay could use some polish. Okay, like if you added an aerial combo system or something like that, or parry system to the, I, that game would be a perfect 9, 10 out of
Yeah,
10 to me,
I
right?
would say so. For me, I gave it like an 8.5, right?
Yeah.
I think the story is really good. The dialogue is amazing. The atmosphere immerses me so
Ooh
heavily.
boy.
The music, the fact that the music is not nominated for Game of the Year for best score in
Oh,
music,
that was. I feel
I'm
snubbed.
always going to.
I feel
I
snubbed.
try not to tell people it's not a big deal. The Game Awards, and then I'm like, fuck, they triggered me.
Yeah. No, man.
It-
Like I'm in that same place where, like, okay, the Game Awards, it's really just a glorified, Emmys, and we don't really put a whole lot of trust in these Emmys already. We know that it's rigged, da, 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 right? But it would have, like, just to show them, like,
I wanted it to be in there. I thought it was, and it wasn't.
yeah.
But it doesn't take away from the fact that it's still an amazing
Oh yeah,
score.
it was a
And
magical experience.
my biggest issue with it was the gameplay loop does not keep me interested. And that was the biggest flaw. Like I was
Yeah,
playing it and it was good, and then when I would go back to it, I would struggle at times to go back to it because it just felt boring. Like I'm sorry, you need to you okay. So one of the big things for me was like you gave me one attack for like the first 2 3 bosses,
mm,
for two at least two bosses, maybe three. I have to level up in order to get a heavy attack.
yeah,
That no, like that
yeah,
should just be in there. Give me. I don't need it to be souls. Like you can keep it the same because this does give me a feel of like 360 type of games that
yeah,
we got, such as
yeah,
the Force Unleashed and stuff like that. But you can't like that's one of those things that like don't try to hide off like a main core gameplay thing because
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, spamming X all the time gets old.
Oh
It
man,
does get
yeah,
boring,
yeah,
and if you don't have like at least in my view, if you don't have other ways like to also do the combo stuff around it, that definitely kind of took it down
So
a bit for me.
I come from gameplay systems like Devil May Cry. Okay, Devil May Cry in my eyes is the perfect, like, especially Devil May Cry 5, the best to do it by far in my book. There hasn't been a game that's come close to that. A style system, amazing versatility, different characters. Obviously, South of Midnight is focused on one character, so couldn't do that, right? But when
Right.
you come when I see a system like that, in spite of the fact that it's Capcom, they're gonna shovel money at this franchise, right? We're talking
Right.
about South of Midnight was made by I hate saying the word a lesser studio, not quite the same budget or
Just an,
anything like that.
indie
Indie,
unknown studio.
right? Yeah, indie. That's a better way to put it. But yeah, like they don't have the money to shovel into a game like that. But when I see a system like Devil May Cry that has all of these systems in it, right, and then I go to South of Midnight and I see something that you know, admittedly probably has a fourth, maybe half of that kind of loop, right? I'm like, I can't give y'all, I can't in good conscience give you a perfect score because the gameplay loop was not bad, but it was just repetitive, especially
It
at
is.
the
It is.
beginning.
Yeah, it's very
It
repetitive, and
yeah,
I think like some of the. That's why I said like I think like there's so many positives to it. The cinematics.
yes,
I love
oh,
that it's like kind of this stop motion. Honestly, the most interesting person to listen to in that whole thing is the catfish.
I
Catfish.
ain't gonna
I
hold you.
love
Yeah,
his dot because I
yeah,
it's Creole, if I believe, if I
yeah,
remember right. And so I don't know Creole. Obviously, the first time I actually ever really heard of the term was Gambit from the Deadpool.
yeah,
So that was
yeah,
when I first heard it, and then I heard it from In South of Midnight, and I was like, "This sounds so cool." It just
yeah.
sounds like something I've never heard before,
It
and I
sounded
think
like from the bayou authentic. Yeah.
yes, and that's why I'm excited that it's on Games for Impact, and I hope it wins Games for Impact because to me, you introduced people to a mythology that are like, I guess yeah, urban mythology that you would never know a part of.
Dude, like that's another thing, right? I learned about lore, things that I'm from the South, okay? I'm born in Texas, all right? I would have never known about any of that. I would have never known about the different lore bits in South of Midnight, right? The 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 story, the part of the game, right? The emotional part that everyone knows. If you played the South of Midnight, you know what I'm talking about. When the mother had to throw her baby overboard, ended up jumping in after, right? Um, that song is stuck in my head from from
It's the first one,
like,
even the first one that got me. The first when you find out that the one brother was upset with the other one, so he
oh
put
man,
him into the tree, and
and
then
his
he died in there,
it
and
it
I
was
was
it was learning his brother was like a form of autistic, like was off, and like
mhm.
he didn't know that his brother was doing this to him until too late.
Yeah, and when he came in and his brother's part of the tree, and then, like, the fact that also Two-Toe Tom was one that I was like,
Oh,
that music got
Tuto
me, like,
Tom.
into I'm
I'm
like,
sitting there
"Okay."
fighting the boss, like not locked in at all, just
Oh,
vibing.
yeah, it was so good. But that's why I'm like, I love that we get to see this stuff. This is why I love games because they bring people together and they bring people
Yes.
into worlds that they never experience, you know. And that's why I encourage people to do this. That's why I was actually really mad when I would hear people talk about shit like, Sweet Baby Ink has a knee or their hands in it, so it's gonna be woke as fuck. And I'm like, the fuck yeah, it is. And so,
Like
like, and I'm fucking all here for it. So
like
like,
the, the the people who scream wokey woke wokety woke on at stuff like I understand that they are the vocal minority, I guess, I suppose, but they scream so loud that other people like they're almost complicit.
they have to turn their heads and listen.
Right. Exactly. It's a form of complicity. Like, well, I mean, it is a little woke, I guess. Like, it infected me a little bit at first, but of course, I'm gonna play it because I play for I be playing stuff for my people, right? Um, and I played it. I'm like, oh, they were completely wrong about this. This game it's solid. Like, it's a good game. It's a good experience. Like, they intentionally miss out on stuff. Let's face it, because a black woman was at the head of it, a young black girl. That's it.
Mhm.
That's really at the crux of the matter. It's just I wish, and you were mentioning this earlier before we got on and everything. I wish that these folks would just stop calling it woke, stop calling it DEI, stop masking it. You just racist, bro. You just don't like black people. Like just come on and just be 100 with yourself. And just be 100 with your audience. Don't make it about all these mystery like black people can see right through you. let's keep it a buck 50 real quick. Black people know what you're talking about when you say it's woke, it's DEI. Like, we know what you're talking about. You're just racist, bro. Like, you're just sexist. You're That's
You know,
really
and
what
that's
that is.
and it is very frustrating because it's like you don't even want to take the time to enjoy what the game actually has to offer. You
Right.
don't actually pay attention to this.
Yeah.
You don't care. You really don't care because the first time you see something that doesn't look like how you want it to be, you immediately throw it to the wolves and say fuck it, it's this woke garbage.
I just I
People like, and you know, I give my story on this too because as a person who was in red pill when I was younger,
mm,
woke was another thing, especially around where the area that I lived, that I would just at first I tried to be like, well, it doesn't need to be this way. And then I started to learn more about what that actually meant. And it was a never ending learning process. Learning is also, it's a never ending process. But,
like yeah. The
and
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
oh yeah, and so I take great pride in now knowing, like, I know what that means, and so I fight to make sure that that is a thing. That's why I respect people, like I mentioned before. I mentioned mindful as much.
Yeah.
I respect him so much for going and just fighting against it, being like, I don't give a fuck what you have to think about it,
Right.
and I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong.
Mm,
And I got
yeah.
so much respect for it. And like, him and I, we talked about like for spoken, I've talked about Dragon Age, the Veil Guard, and how people don't really pay attention to actually what's being actually shown into there. You're not paying attention at all. You just see non-binary character and lose your shit. You
Yeah.
see black character take helm and lose your shit. And so at some point you just got to be, yo, why does that get to you?
Right.
And I translate that same to when I was in red pill because I would get upset. There was one day where I sat there and I was like, I was upset because I saw this woman who was like succeeding in like uh in it was a thing with retail, right?
Yeah.
And like I was literally sitting there getting upset, and then I'm like, why the fuck do I care? Like, I don't even like
Yeah.
retail, or not
Right.
retail, real estate. I was like, I don't even like real estate. I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck am I getting mad? And like you have
Yeah.
to take that look into it and
Yeah.
be like, why is this getting me so upset? Why
Yeah.
is seeing black people into these roles that are out of what is the norm? Because y'all are okay with CJ from
Yeah.
GTA. Y'all are
Yeah.
okay when black people are setting up as as like certain stereotypes or like this is why I don't like James Heller from Prototype 2. I think he's
Yeah.
a bad representation of a black man.
Yes. Yes.
Um I've played the game. I don't think he's like the worst representation of a black man, but I'm not a fan of the angry black man trope. Um, and so that's why I don't really like him. So when I look at is the representation done right? Are we really representative? And I'm glad because once again, I'm actually gonna thank Mindful for this. He helped me kind of get through that line to understand that.
Yeah.
Just because you can say CJ's a cool character, is he still a stereotype of a black man that lives in those kind of areas? Yeah, he is.
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
and that's when we start breaking out of that norm. That's when the people start having issues because y'all are okay when we in 2K.
Right. When we're doing when we're playing basketball, when we're on the streets doing street stuff,
But when
when
we
we're,
all in our own when we get isekai to a different world, Forspoken, now
you know,
you have a fucking issue with
right.
it because the character, one, doesn't sit into like a stereotype, and two, the character is also a very unapologetic person,
Right.
and
That
you just
Yeah.
don't like that.
You can't. So, also, as someone, back then it wasn't called red pill, but I was on the pipeline to be just that. The thing is, I grew up with three sisters, so I was gonna get some outside perspective on just how black women were treated. Um, and I'm not gonna repeat the whole story, but one day I'm in middle school. I said something to one of my older sister's friends. It was an epithet that I'm not very proud of. I was 14, being stupid, of course, and my sister clowned me, and like clowned me in such a way that like it's like your dad saying he's disappointed in you type of clowning. Like I felt terrible. And from that point forward, that was like a defining moment, right? Because
Mhm.
if that behavior had continued unchecked, I would I'd be on and I'd be on path to being red pill, right? But I see that same path still being activated and used in anime and video games, especially in in the gym culture and everything, right? I see that kind of stuff, and that's why. And I'm also appreciative of Mindful Gamer because they're so able to eloquently put how I feel, right? Echo what I feel. That line in the sand of representation and understanding who we let into our communities is that much more important. You can't Gaming is for everybody. I said this in a video before, but I'm gonna say it in such a way that is a little more palatable. Gaming is for everybody. The gaming communities are not. We don't need to be letting everybody into these communities.
Oh,
Okay?
that's fair.
Everybody can't love everything. All right. But that has been solidly proven throughout a lot of gaming. Whenever a black person is put at the forefront of any major or minor IP, there are dudes, mostly dudes, a group of people that go out of their way saying they don't care, it's not that serious, but will go into our spaces and go into IPs where we're represented and make their whole life's mission to talk down on these things. And
Right.
I just I never I never understood that behavior at first, but now I understand it more and more because
Right.
as my voice begins to be formed in these communities, I'm still relatively new to these things, but as my voice is formed, I'm hearing other voices. I'm actually seeing the pattern, and it could have been me too. I'm able to empathize and see, right? I'm not
Mhm.
necessarily changing people's minds, right? But I am out here trying to say, okay, maybe this is why they think this way. Well, let me try and you know keep that line of thinking out of here in whatever way that I can.
Right. And I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to also like when I broke free from it, because I'm open about this. I feel like it's good to be open about this. What also helped me break free was actually I would go into TikTok lives and I would hear like a feminist TikTok live and I would start getting upset and then I would block it. And then after a while I stopped blocking them and I started sitting in them. Because I was working overnights anyways. So
Okay.
I would just sit into these lives. Now, if they were just a bunch of back and forth screaming, I just left. I was just like, that's not productive to me. But if I would sit there and I would listen, and I would listen, and I would listen, and it did change my opinion. It changed how I would sit there, and I would start to reflect. And even now when I look through my Facebook of friends that I have through my wife and I moved back up to where I used to live. I'm not happy about it. But but it is what it is. And you know, when I started looking through the way my friends at the time talked, and I'm like, yo, there's a reason why I don't talk to you guys no more. Like shit, I just had it was like it was like some sort of like fucking it was a clarity. That's the word. It was a clarity.
You know, I've it's strange. Like recently, as I've started making content and everything, I'm just now realizing I don't talk to like the friends that I have. I don't talk to them the same way or at all, really, because like when I look at the kind of and this is recent. Like I avoided red pill back when I'm in my 30s. Like I said,
Yeah.
I avoided red pill when I was like 14. But like even as my opinions began to get more formed, right? I can look and there is that moment of clarity where like there's a reason I don't talk to you niggas. Like like
Yeah. There
like
is. There is
like
like it's just there's a I sit there and I'm like,
y'all really ain't shit. Like
no.
yeah.
Like I know it's the same thing. Like I'd sit there and I start listening and listen, I go online and I listen to them hoot and holler and stuff like that. And I just like I sit there and I'm like, yo, dude, like how did I like why was I running with you at any point? Why was I
Yeah.
hanging out with you at any point? Because I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, like when I'm more I sit here and think about like you're not a good person.
Mm,
And so, and it was like, damn, that's because I wasn't a good person, you know? And
right.
so when when I'm listening to them talk, and I started correcting them on that shit. I was like, nah, this is actually what's really truth behind it. Can you back your shit up? Can you back some of the shit up that you're talking about?
Yeah.
You know?
I
And it's
used to
like,
I used to be the kind of person like when I there was a one guy that was gaming with us, and we were I think we were playing Rivals, I want to say, and he said, and I think he knew at the time I'm a black person, right? And he got mad about some play that was going on, and he said, "God, I want to say racial slurs so bad," and I pussyfooted around it. I was like, "Hey, man, maybe don't. Like, I'm kind of like right here. That's gross. Like." And then now I look back on that situation, and I should have just straight up said, "Bro, get the fuck out of my group.
yeah,
What are you talking about?" Like in that way, I was still low key complicit, right? Even
mhm.
though I identified the problem, right? I didn't. Sorry, that's my phone. I did. I didn't. I didn't. I didn't snuff it out and say, "No, this is unacceptable. This is
Right.
actually unacceptable behavior, especially in my presence." But it behooves us more, right, to do exactly what you are doing, and make come to that realization. But also, like when you see it happening, speak with conviction and say, "Bro, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Don't talk about that kind of stuff, at least around me, especially. Like that's you are not safe around me talking about that kind of stuff.
Mm-mm.
Like you
No.
ignoring it and or condoning it or laughing about it or being in its presence makes you the good guy who does nothing. Therefore, you are evil. You are just siding with evil in a different way. You're
No,
letting evil win."
that's a good way to look at it, and that's the problem is there's a lot of people who they don't want to make it their issue. So like there's like I am it's either you get the people who kind of like you said tap dance around it. If you're talking certain issues, they might just say, well, just both sides are evil, and then try
Yeah.
to move on from there. They might try to say, well, it doesn't really affect me or something like that, but like it does because like especially obviously now too because like my brother has a kid, and like she's adorable, and I'm like, I don't want her growing up into a world. I told one day I was talking with my wife because I like allergies kick in and like I was laying there with my with a bag over my eye or there's an ice pack over my eyes. And so she's sitting there and she's talking to me, and I went in like I was like 110%. Shit, I hit my desk. I was 110% vulnerable with her with it, and I told her I'm like, I like when this happens. Like, obviously, I don't because like it's fucking itching on my eyes, but like it's like I see better when my eyes are closed.
Mm,
And she's like, "What do you mean by that?" Because I can't distract myself with anything from the outside. So now all I have left to see are my own thoughts.
mm.
And like I broke down. I cried right in front of my wife. I was like, "My biggest fear is my kid. I don't want my kid to realize their dad is such a fuck up." And like that
Oh,
was that I broke down right there. I'm actually feeling it right now.
damn, bro.
Because that is my thing so much. I don't want my kid being like, damn, like, my she went to school, she would be a pharmacist and all that. I don't want them to be like, and then, dad just didn't
I'm
do anything. I want
I'm
to
s-
be a father that's there all the time. My dad couldn't be there all the time because he had to work. He was he worked construction, so he went all the way around Wisconsin.
yeah.
My mom was she was a teacher's aide for a while, but then I mean she got a lot of medical problems, so she was home all the time.
Mm,
But it was one of those where I'm like, I want to be it's not my dad did as much as he could when he could. Like that's why I will never flack him for it. Like that's one thing I'll never
right.
flack him for it.
Yeah.
But like I'm one that like I want to be that parent who's also there. I want to be the parent who's there, who is because now I have that opportunity. My wife's pregnant. We found that out she's about 7 weeks pregnant.
Congrats.
You know,
Good.
and so now I have that opportunity.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I'm like, now it's like don't fuck it up. And I don't
Yeah.
want my kid to grow up into a where that red pill, that kind of stuff. And I was like, "Ma, I will slap the shit out of your mouth so quick." If I hear
Yeah.
you reciting some random like, well, women do,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
we are
Yep.
not
Same.
starting that.
Nah. Nah. I have a so I have a nephew, and I have similar fears um, for him because I want him to be into all the games, right? I want him to be suffused in nerd culture. He go, and when he's 3 years old right now, so he kind of a handful. You know, I can be the distant uncle right now a little bit. You know, I mean,
That's fair.
dap him up when he comes home. you know, nah, but seriously, but when he like is cognizant enough to like start playing games and everything, right? I want him to be suffused in the culture, and I wish, right, that he could grow into understanding. It's a very welcoming and understanding and inclusive culture, and he's always welcome in it. But what I experience and what I see is contrary to that. And I don't I at least in my community, that's one of the reasons I'm building the community, right? To build better men, to build better people, right? So that like it's as inclusive as I say that I am,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that when I do bring my nephew into the fold, as it were, um, he is able to be part of a community that is welcoming and accepting. So that would be his first impression of a true like a gaming community that would accept him and love him and understand like, yeah, wow, you like this I like this as well, like that's generally what nerd culture really is supposed to be about. We like the same stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It should not matter what our background, what we were born with, on our person at the time, right? Shouldn't matter any of that. It matters what we like, how we like it. I would much rather argue about how Goku is a terrible father. Okay, I don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do don't do that. Don't do that. no, but I would much rather argue about how Vegeta is a superior character to Goku in almost every way. I would love to argue about nerd stuff, is what I'm saying, right?
Right.
But here I am in these same arguments, fighting for my life. It seems to just make my voice heard, just because it just happens to be a black voice.
Yep.
It shouldn't be that way. I know
No.
that I and there are so many people, and it's like I said, it's those people who are complicit, those people who ignore it. Right? There's so many people who think that if we just like let it be, they'll go away. It has been proven time and again. Same I despise Morgan Freeman for getting on that 60 Minutes episode back in 2001 and saying, "Just stop talking about it." Why are we listening to that pedophile? Okay? Well, I don't care what Morgan Freeman has to say. All right? When he said just stop talking about it, right? What what was really being said was the racists need to stop talking about it. The KKK, the Proud Boys, okay? The incels, the red pill, y'all need to stop talking about it. That it's y'all's obsession. We be trying to just live. We just trying to enter into these spaces and just live.
You mean like he just said it wrong.
Probably, yeah. I think he was saying it generally, like to quote both sides, but I think he really meant it for the the real white supremacists out there, the people who low key and high key have those feelings
Mm-hmm.
and
No, probably.
internalized. Like
Probably.
that's really who that was for. It wasn't for black people to stop bringing it up. It was for the racists to be like, you know what, maybe being obsessed with whatever black people are doing is kind of a bad thing. That would just maybe. Anyway, that's the crux of it, right? Is I don't want my nephew to pick up his first video game, and it happens to be some online game, and then the first thing he hears is like slurs.
Right.
The first thing he sees when he opens up, I don't know, a forum or opens up a feed on social media somewhere is disparaging of a person of color or a
Right.
woman.
And the thing is too is it's not even just from us and our side as well, but from people who are of the other races as well, especially people who
Ooh,
are white. Like going,
man.
I'm always like, check your kids.
Mhm.
Like if they're saying weird stuff, don't take that as just well, it's just them being them, because that is also emblematic on you.
Very
Like
true.
it's the same, no different than if I have a friend that runs around and throws the N word out all the time. He's like, well, my friend, I can say whatever. I'm gonna look at your friend, your black friend, and be like, why are you allowing him to say that?
Yes.
Because like
Yes.
now he just turned around and started using it on everybody else. And let's say he got his shit rocked. So in some regards, you kind of helped him become complicit in that. You
Yes.
know, uh,
Yes.
like when I was in IHOP on my way to Anime in Milwaukee, and because I was like, you know what, I want myself a fucking omelet, and I see a group of people. There's a group of people. They're all white, and these two boys, and I know they don't know what they're talking about, but they're talking about using the term illegal immigrants not being in the country. 13-year-olds. They don't. I know they don't know what the fuck actually the nuance is behind that.
Right.
And so I'm like, why? Like, and the dad just kind of looks over and then just kind of looks away or whatever. And I'm like, this is the problem: is that you
Yeah.
are complicit. Now I know that immigration is a huge, very nuanced issue, right? But like, that's just one of those things where I'm like, yo, like, if your son's not saying things correctly, this is also why I'm a big believer in you should have your facts backed up.
Mm.
Your opinion should be based on some facts, you know. Um, if you're like, well, go woke, go broke, okay, cool. You can use that. Let's start determining what you mean by woke, go broke. Because last time there's a lot of fucking woke material. Most of the anime you fucking watch
They ain't going
is like
broke.
is woke as fuck. It
Yeah.
is woke as fuck. So most of the anime you watch, a lot of those Marvel movies that y'all want to sit around. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and so like there's so much shit that they want to call as woke, but it's not. Like, and I'm like, if you why like my question is always like, why are you not open to learning about this?
Yes.
Like, we also had to develop a place of learning instead of trying to demonize anybody who wants to learn. Like,
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
people who are genuinely stupid. There
Right.
are people who are generally very, very dumb, but they have such a high confidence because they're like, well, I'm one of those people that I don't agree. Like, you know how like we used to, we used to clown on those kids who were like always wanted to be different,
Yes.
just for the sake of being different. Like, I'm edgy for the sake of being edgy.
Yeah.
Y'all are just dumb for the sake of being dumb because you have no reason to be
Yeah.
stupid.
Y-
Like,
I mean,
y'all are like, well,
we are
I'm trying to follow this. Or I
we are
don't.
literally in the age of information. You could find any bit of information if you really wanted to.
Like,
It's even
I
even
ask
this
people for
even this
sources.
yeah,
Ask
right.
people for, hey,
Right.
where did you find this? Well, just Google it. No, where did you find
Like
what you're talking about?
don't
Because
just don't Google it and give me the first AI response. Go Google it, click on a link and show me
yes, read the
where's
link.
the data? Where's
Like,
the data?
hey, if I don't know something, please send me the link to it. Send me a couple links and I'll go read them.
Right.
If it's like a link from, hey, this is a link about MSNBC on why like you said, Goku's a bad father, right? And you're like, okay, well, yeah, sure, I'll read up on that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, you are, but like it just like but
I'll remember that.
but but like it's that kind of stuff is very important. Learning and researching is highly important.
Yes.
There is a spot for AI. There is a
Yeah,
spot for AI. Don't use it as your main source of trying to
right.
find any information.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going and I'm looking up something about it's something dumb stuff, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'll look up something about Demon Slayer, you know, and sure, like I might use an AI for that. But if I'm looking up something like I feel like I've like very much substance, right?
Hmm.
Like immigration,
Yeah.
abortion, healthcare, that kind of stuff, I'm going to look up multiple sources.
Right.
When I was deconstructing myself out of this, I was looking up the difference between patriarchy, matriarchy, egalitarian. I was trying to look up multiple different variants and
Me too.
versions
Yeah.
because I don't understand the difference between them because there's so much nuance between them.
Right.
You know, um, like I looked up about learning about SRY gene, about what it means to be trans.
Oh.
So I had a better understanding of, from a biological sense, why biological sex and gender are different, because it's such a it's a very nuanced thing. But I mean, there's one thing that's not nuanced. I believe that trans women, trans men, they all deserve like rights full heartedly, full
They're
stop.
still human, right?
Right.
100%. Yeah.
But like, but I also wanted to learn more about them. So you know what I did? I entered lives. I researched the stuff, you know. Um like I and I like to write too. So like when I try to develop my characters, I try to use multiple stuff like that to kind of figure things out.
Yeah.
You know,
It's important to dang, I lost my train of thought. Hold on.
that happens to me all
Right.
the time.
No, it's important to right. I'm the kind of person. I'm not a debate me, bro. I will not debate because to debate is to have the information like readily available either up here or in front of you somewhere, right? I'm the
Mhm.
kind of person when you come at me with a new fact, right? The one that they love to throw at us, like the 50% 13%, right?
1350.
50
Yeah.
the 1350, right? I l- I looked into that. I was like I was interested. I'm like, you know what? If we really are that, perhaps but when I looked into where it was first quoted, first off, it wasn't 50%, it was 38%. Why are we just adding an extra 12%? First off. Second, yeah, that's still a pretty bad statistic, right? But I looked into it for myself, right? That's the point I'm trying to get across, right? I didn't just go with your information. I'm one of those people, oh, that's new. Okay. Let me go look into that for myself. In fact, give me your source and I will go ahead and look at it. Right. And it's usually with these folks, it's gonna be some meme somewhere they saw on Twitter or something like
Or
that.
it's
But
you'll hear it's reality, it's common sense,
right,
because common sense does not have a source.
correct.
Um,
Right.
and so like, yeah, it's so dumb. Like,
Oh yeah.
oh, this is just common sense, and I'm like, yeah, but what about it is common sense?
Yeah, like it's not very common to me. If I don't know it,
Like,
you
I
know,
should have to go check it out, especially if we're talking about something that's highly important. And eventually, if you have no logical being or logical reasoning to get to your point, you might want to start rethinking what you're talking about.
right.
You know, um, I use it with the terms of the games that are woke. The games that are woke, and we have some of the most successful games. Like y'all want to bitch about Sweet Baby Inc., but y'all love God of War Ragnarok.
Tell them. Tell them.
You
Straight
know,
up.
it's like you like some of these really successful games. You guys don't want women in games, but then you'll go and play a game like Uncharted. Like, it's like what you really are just you're just fragile. Like,
Yeah.
and you need to, you know what? And this is why I made a video about this. I talked about this last time too. And I like talking about it because I like talking about it. But like maybe it's just I don't know, maybe it's like stroking my own ego. But like it was like for a group of people who grew up on COD lobbies, y'all are some of the biggest pussies.
Man,
Y'all are
that
some of the biggest pussies.
that be the main thing they go to, and I'm like, but but
Like it is
you're the one getting like flustered over something you claim not to care about.
right. Like the fragility is real. The fragility
Man,
is there. And this and now, I'm not even looking at this like a white fragility. I'm looking at even just a male fragility.
man,
Like
yeah,
y'all
uh,
are sitting there until like a woman tells you, yo, shut the fuck up, and then you crash out.
dog.
You crash out.
I don't know if you've seen it on TikTok, but a
Yep.
lot of people. Oh, you already know I'm about to say Andrew Wilson. That
Yep.
that situation.
Listen, if you were, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep this a buck. If you're a follower of Andrew Wilson, you don't need to be a part of my page because I have too many different kind of people. I have too many amazing people. I have so many amazing women that I've talked to that they don't need to follow a person that, even not even his latest crash out, that got pissed off because he couldn't open a fucking olive jar and then blamed the woman across from him saying that, oh,
Dog,
she greased it. Like, shut the fuck up, man.
man. So that was I mean, a quintessential example, right? She did this lady across the table from him didn't insult him, didn't personally attack him. She just stated a fact. Look at the life you are touting to your listeners, and then now look at the life that you are living. Something ain't right there. Something's not lining up right there.
Yeah.
That's all she was doing. And that man resorted to mockery, to insults. You lick sniz. Who calls it a sniz, by the way? I
I
just want to
kind of
put
wanted to see what the other guy's face was when he said that. Just like
a little bit.
there was one where I remember there was it was on a Fresh and Fit one too, where this dude kept trying to insult this this woman for having a deeper voice, and she's like, my husband doesn't care. Like,
Yeah.
My husband doesn't give a fuck. And she just called him fat. Like that's all she turned around and called him fat. That bro had a full crash out. Even the other dudes on that podcast clip were like,
Yikes, bro. Yeah.
like, bro, why are you crashing? Like,
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think part of growing up is just recognizing these kind of thoughts and behaviors that
Yes.
you have. You instead of her laying out a straight up fact and being like, yo, this is not what you preach. And then, him blowing up, that's very unfortunate, and it's very emblematic of
Yes.
just how he has been.
Yes.
Um, and so that's why I'm like, yo, I've seen because I've seen that clip multiple times. That thing
Me
went
too.
around the internet like crazy. And
Yeah.
I was even seeing people on there being like, yeah, I used to follow him. I don't know why I can follow him at this point. Like, I watched a dude fully crash out. They were all like, you know what? And I sat there, I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad. If that is what it took you to move away from people like him,
Yeah.
because once you start seeing that in a guy like him, you start seeing that everywhere. I tell people, go listen to the old Call of Duty ones.
Yes.
And go listen to old Call of Duty lobbies. That what you saw with Andrew is what you see there.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like, and then those same people are mad because one, Xbox doesn't want their brand to be known as just a place where all racists go.
Yes. Right. Yeah,
And
man.
that's why they started cracking down on some of the stuff. And so, PlayStation did the same thing. Obviously, Nintendo did the same thing. But it's like it's at a I don't want to say it's at a point, but you as a person are also like responsible for seeing that, and when new information like that comes in, be able to kind of figure that out and be like, dude, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm like I said, if that's what it takes to get someone to be like, yo, that's fucking weird,
Yes. Like,
that's fine by me, because at least that's one less person who is like that warped into that belief.
I mean, granted, there's still going to be that part of me that was like, it took this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
No. Absolutely.
there's
Absolutely.
like, of course we don't, but and it's just like people who are now leaving the MAGA train, right? Do the Epstein files really need to be released for you to like leave MAGA? Like, is that really what it takes? Right? You honestly, you were going to be on. You were only on this train as long as it was quote succeeding, when it never really was. It's the same thing with red pill. Like, when they realize that male loneliness is cyclical. When it comes to red pill, you are always going to be lonely if you keep on following these guys, if you keep following their advice.
They're
Right?
using you for a business.
Right.
That's
They,
all they're using you
and
for.
some of these guys know this, because like some of the guys who follow know this, right? They knowingly listen to this stuff because it's all that they know. And if they really look at it, they like the power dynamic of men being dominant all the time and men controlling women, and they like that. They like that part of it, even though they know it is not a successful model for building
No.
relationships.
And the thing is, on top of it too, if you talk with them, you do hear that that's what they really are, is very much they want that dominating feeling
Right.
over other people. And it's really interesting because by that point, what they really end up doing is they become a slave to other men's validation. They
Boy,
do.
a bar,
They
a
become a slave
bar.
to men's validation, because
Yeah.
if I don't know, if Randy's like, fuck women, blah blah blah, and this man's like, if you're not making this kind of money, you're just fucking trash. Yeah, they fuck right. So I go do all this stuff. So then I look cool now, right, guys? I look cool now, right? That's what you're doing. That's what it
Dude,
looks like.
like,
When and then because your validation is not even in yourself. Like, you're not even like to make yourself feel good. I sometimes dress kind of nicer because I want to look good. Because I feel good sometimes when I'm not gonna lie, like sweatshirt, sweatpants. That's typically what I wear. But every
tank
once
top,
in a while,
sweatpants.
yeah,
Like,
that's typically
yeah.
what I wear. But every once in a while, I'll throw on a pair of jeans. I'll throw on like one of like a nicer shirt and like a jacket or something like that. and when I go out because I like doing that. And then guess what? That mindset alone was like, well, I like doing that. And also that also makes sense why when I hear women say they like doing that.
Yeah.
Of course, because they like you like looking nice. It's of course you do. Sometimes you don't want to look like a bum all day,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Like it's women will literally tell you what they want, what they like, right? And I seen this on another live, where a dude was basically saying a woman needs to be able to cook, be able to clean. She need to do what I say. She don't need to. I don't want her to have a job. Da, da, da. And the person who was orating, controlling the live was like, okay, so put yourself in the shoes of a woman just for a moment, right? Would you be attracted to you? Would you like any of those stipulations, right?
Mm.
Women when they say the bar is in hell, they have literally women will tell you what they want, and men will be like, nah.
You know what's crazy? The fun way I like putting it sometimes is like, do you remember like playing, like getting the old like gamer magazines, like
Game
the
Informer,
Brady games, like the game
Brady
guides?
games, yep,
Game
private
guides.
official
It's like
strategy guide,
having
yeah.
a game guide and being like, nah, I know better.
Oh my god, the
Like
answer's
she's
right
like,
there.
hey, I really like if like people who are more emotionally intelligent. I like the fact if you have your own job and that kind of stuff. If you're a
Dog.
genuinely good person, and all you read was, I need to be a douchebag. And so, so
Yeah, like,
it's so,
bro,
it's so funny.
you didn't even read the table of content. Like,
Well, half of them can't read, but like, but
hey,
but like, it's wild to me because I've met so many women who, and I know women, I know the whole fact, well, women do blah blah blah. I know, I get that, but guess what? I'm a man, so I'm gonna rep harder on men
yes,
because I'm a man. Like I can't
right,
speak for the women's experience. I can admit that it is so crazy to me. Like I remember I was having the same conversation with the person I talked about before was the one in Toronto, whatever.
yes,
Uh
yes.
before I before we just stopped talking. And he was like, man, I don't know. Like I was like, I feel like, my friend gave women a nice try, and I don't know why they're not nice to like, the whole like, you're not nice to me because I was nice to you. I'm like, they don't owe you to be nice. And if she's being that big of a
Bro,
douche to you, why do you want to be near her
bro,
anyways? Like,
like, you're not. It's literally not making sense. First of all, there's no such thing as a nice guy token. You can't put nice guy tokens into the woman receptacle and get a woman somehow.
well,
Just
what if I
because.
give her a TikTok galaxy?
No, no, no. Oh my god. Like, let's stay focused, okay? No, like, just because like you are a decent human being to someone doesn't entitle you to any of their time, is what I'm saying.
No,
Okay,
exactly. It's
like
100% true.
being a nice guy, like, and you should just be okay. You should not be nice for the promise of anything. You shouldn't be a good person for the promise of anything. Just like
No,
you shouldn't be a good person in this earthly life just so you can get to heaven. You should just do it because it's the right thing to do.
there was actually there was a woman that I saw. I would love to do an interview with her. I think she seems really insightful, but I can't think of her name. But I've seen her on a couple of my For You pages, and she made a video about that, about how she noticed that there's so many people who only don't do bad stuff because they know there's consequences, not just because of the fact that it's just
Right.
naturally being a good person.
Yeah.
And that unfortunately is very true for a lot of people.
If
Like
you
if
no,
you
if you go back to what you said about, like, hey, if you can just say the N word, just say it. No, because there's consequences, so you won't.
because there's consequences, yeah.
Yeah.
The consequences shouldn't be your determining factor on why you're not a piece of shit. Like
Yes. Yes.
it's a very scary thing because it's like you're telling me the only reason that you didn't roofie this person's drink is because you thought he was going to get caught, not the fact that you're just you could just be a decent person, you could be a good
Right.
person
It's not
and go
just it's
talk to
not
them.
just because roofing someone is a terrible thing to do to begin with.
Right. I've had, for me, I've had, I talk to people all the time. I never once go in there being like, man, I really hope she fucking gets with me. Like that's fucking weird. But like I'm just having a
It's really
conversation
weird,
with
bro.
someone,
Like,
and but I know people. Like there's a friend of mine that we're still breaking free from it.
mm,
Like he gets those moments where he still starts to, and me and another friend of mine, we check him on it every time.
good.
So I start asking why. Like, why do you feel this way? Because at first it was like, bro, you sound fucking dumb. But then after a while, it was like, so why do you feel that way? And so he was he was talking and he was getting upset. He started getting upset because he's like, I feel like you're attacking me. And I'm like, cool, absolutely. So then we were all in the car, and I'm like, we kind of are.
Yeah.
Like, we're coming after the bullshit part of you that wants to change, but keeps holding yourself back.
It's because like a lot of the bullshit that your friends probably think, it's very surface level. If you just asked why like two or three, maybe not even two or three, maybe once or twice, you begin to realize, oh man, maybe like the path that the why is leading me to doesn't make sense. It leads to nowhere. It leads to oblivion.
Mhm.
Like when it's we're in the era of it's not that deep, bro. It's not that deep. It, you A lot of it is that deep. In
A lot
fact,
of it is,
a vast
and
vast majority of it is that deep. You're
that's
just not
why.
you're not
Did
willing
you see that
to
video I put about? It was the one where I was talking about like holding. If you can't, you can hold other people accountable, but you can't hold your friends and family. You're a hypocrite.
I s-
Um,
I like the message. I didn't see the video.
it's got the my background is Lord of the Rings, the Third Age.
No. Ooh,
If you remember,
okay.
if you remember that game.
I do. I didn't play it. Didn't play it.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty. It was I was very new to like those kind of games, like the turn based whatever. But it was really cool. It like goes side by side with the main story.
Mm, okay.
Um, so like while like the fellowship is doing blah blah blah, you're pretty much just kind of underneath them doing other stuff. So at one point, like after Gandalf fought the Balrog, right? And Gandalf fought the Balrog. Well, in this version of it, after everyone flees, your group shows up. So no, you guys actually took on the Balrog instead. However, and if you win those missions, if you beat those missions, uh best part about it is you got to turn around and play as the villains.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's pretty cool. So you get to see
Yeah,
a
it was
different
super
you get to
cool. And
see
I
a
was like,
different side. Like,
more games need this. Like so,
yes,
but
yeah,
it was but the video was very much about that. Like you have to be able to hold your own friends and family accountable. I'm
yeah,
not saying you need to go in on them every like oh fuck you, blah blah blah. No. But like you hear your fucking, uncle being like, wow, black people are causing blah blah blah. Cool, where'd you hear this from?
right. Who said
You
that?
know? Um,
Yeah,
where'd you hear this from? Like, it's something as simple as that. Well, it was on the news. Okay, like what news? Like, tell me when there was. Well, it's not that big. No, no. Like, you're the one who made a statement about it. I think you should be able to back it up. It's only fair. You should be
I
able to
have
back up with your statement.
I have a cousin. It was actually no, it was in May. It was a family reunion. I have a cousin, black dude, MAGA Trump supporter, right? The whole family was like, "Hey, man, don't talk about politics around him. Just nobody wants to talk about politics around him." Right, right. Now, this like 40 people here, right? I'm not about to. I'm not. At best, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna avoid him because I'm going to talk about some shit, right?
Yeah, you open up the dialogue like the
Right.
floodgates are over.
He came into my room and started talking about it and started talking about how like, oh yeah, Trump's doing this, like he's doing this for the economy, and I did the exact thing you just. So where are you hearing this from? It's like, yeah, well, I just saw a post online, and I'm like, a post online. Oh, okay. Well, where did the post come from? Like, basically just repeatedly asking why. Like, why do you think this way? Why is like it? And it was amazing watching him in real time, low key, like realize he didn't have any real basis of information for any of his political beliefs, right? So I say that, right? Um, we have to whenever in our close circles, we understand our family more than anyone else. We need to be able to hold them accountable. We need to be able to sit in a room with them and not let them just go on a tirade about how women are this and black people are that, and those Asian folks over there are doing this, and those Mexicans, get them out of my country. When you see that, when you hear that, you know how these folks will respond to anyone else. You know how to attack that problem. You know how to hold those people accountable, and it doesn't necessarily need to end up with you being exiled out of the family. It doesn't need to necessarily end up. No, it needs to end up with no. That uncle, that grandpa, that cousin who says those types of things, they're not going to say that stuff around me, as long as I'm in the room.
Right. You're
And
setting up your boundary.
and they need to know that there are other rooms that they're going to be in as well who are going to have people like me in it. That's how close this shit is to you. So maybe check yourself. Maybe start to change your mind about some things. Start to see things a little bit differently, or at the very least, be silent around me. I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear that kind of stuff.
And when you do that, when you set up those boundaries, it's only going to benefit yourself.
Right.
And this is honestly, this is funny. I joke about this. So this is a take from women, because women have set up boundaries. They've been so good at it. Men are terrible. They're basically the equivalent of walking into brick walls and then hoping that the wall stays up.
Dude, I have seen so many happily single women, right? Because they've set up those boundaries. I'm wondering what makes them glow so much. It's because they set these boundaries up. They don't just let people in like that. They don't.
So when they find someone to actually to be with, when they do finally find someone, that it's such a better dynamic. It's such a better relationship.
Right.
And I think a lot of dudes, they want to do that. They want to. They legitimately want to do that. But at the same time, they're also struggling to keep those walls up, because they're constantly told basically to not have walls, or your walls are so arbitrary. Your walls are only viewed on their personal preference. One of the things that I had to deal with was the fact of, I was taught, I don't know if you were, I was taught about being the breadwinner.
Me too. Yes.
Breadwinner. So when my wife's going to be, it's a pharmacist. She's making way more than I am. And that was something I had to kind of learn and get in. And I told her it's not something easily, because I was taught this. This is something I'm kind of just recycling. Let me figure this out and let me correct it.
Yes.
And so I did, like, I don't, because I looked at I started looking in between pros and cons of this kind of stuff. And I was like, what's the con of my wife making more money than me? I was like, but I was like,
it's based on nothing.
I know my wife isn't like this. If she was the type that would constantly, let's say, throw it in my face, you don't make enough, you don't do blah blah blah, then I already talked to her about. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't tolerate that kind of stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you were that kind of arrogant to do that, then honestly, we wouldn't be together, because I don't do that, and I don't do that kind of stuff. When it comes to us, we're a team. That's what we do. It's collaboration, not competition.
Yes.
Except for Puzzle Fighter. That's when the competition gets in.
I mean,
it's so funny, because my wife is not a gamer. She's not a gamer, not really an anime watcher. But I did get her to watch Death Note.
Nice.
And then I got her to watch Kotaro Lives Alone. And it's so sad. It was one of those where, like, you're watching it and you're like,
I might have to look it up then.
It's good.
I like to feel sad in a controlled environment. So
and so with her, it was like she doesn't really do trash talk or anything like that. And we were playing Puzzle Fighter, and she enjoyed it. And then the next time we played, she's like, "Well, I don't want to play it." I'm like, "Is it because you're trash?" And and she just stopped moving. And it was just like, and I sat there, and so she turns around. I'm just. just waiting.
No, not the shitty grin, bro. Damn.
Yeah, she's like, get the fucking controller.
About to show you.
So, and but when it always comes down to, there's stuff to just unlearn, and it's good for people to do that. If there's a woman who wants that whole traditional stay-at-home lifestyle and all that stuff, that's great. I'm happy that you can have the choice to do that.
Yes.
That's not my wife. That's not myself. And so that's just kind of, that's a you thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I don't, her making more money than me is nothing. It doesn't matter.
It
Like
shouldn't.
at the end
So
of the day, our bills get paid,
there
and
are there, sorry, there are so many women out there who really don't care what you make. They
no,
don't.
they really don't.
Like there are a lot of women out there who are fine with you not being, 6'5". They are fine with you not making six figures. Are you like
Because they
when
also know it's realistic. Not a lot of people are gonna make six figures.
first off,
Like,
like when the women that these red pillars podcast people get, like the women that they get on their shit, right, is the lowest common denominator, the women who think that they want this stuff, who think that they deserve this stuff. They intentionally get these women on, that they pay them thousands of dollars to get on here, right, and say stuff like, "I want to make 6 feet, six figures."
a lot of them are young.
Re,
A
re,
lot of them are
re,
young.
realistic women,
Like,
know that those men are in like a percent of a percentile. You're not going to find those men. It's just, like that's like maybe 10% of men, maybe 5% of men. Like one thing I can say to these very ever so slight credit of red pillars, yes, that statistic. You're not. It's like they said this before. You're really not going to find that kind of man. Most women are realistic about this. Most women are in the trenches of this and understand. I'm probably not going to find that. But does he have goals? Is he a good guy? Does he have like does he have hobbies, things that he likes to do, and does the hobby not take over his entire personality? you know does he have a
right?
personality? Like the when they say the bar is in hell, like these are things that I thought, oh yeah, these are kind of by default, I kind of have to have these things, right?
Do I not want a person too that's gonna blow off the handle every single second of the day when
A
something doesn't go
person
right?
who is safe.
Yeah, I want a person who is safe. I want to,
Yeah.
and guess what? If that's all fine and dandy. You know what I mean? Sometimes, guess what? I look at myself physically. I'm not every woman's cup of tea, and guess what? I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not mad at that. I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Listen. As someone, and I no shade to you, right? As someone, I grew up being told I am a relatively attractive person, right? It blows my mind when a woman when women don't want me, right? There's still that narcissism in my head just a little bit from unlearning certain behaviors, right? Not every man, no, you are not entitled to every woman. Just because you might be a little more handsome, you might have more money, you're not entitled to those things,
No.
right?
And when a
Women
woman
women
doesn't care,
women will like you for the reasons that they want. They have a choice,
right? And
you know.
the thing is that too is like if someone is not attracted to you, that happens. That's life, bro.
Yo,
That's
straight
life,
straight
bro.
up, man. Like, yeah, it's the dude. Like, it blew my mind. Really, like, I think this is part of the reason I started getting low key, like, I guess, radicalized, was when I realized these women don't be lying about how dangerous it is to like deny a man from his advances. Like, well, you ain't that
Yeah.
pretty anyway. The dude saying you ain't that pretty anyway. That's the least of their concerns. That's crazy,
Oh yeah,
right?
it's stalking, it's
Yes,
potentially losing your life. Like,
right.
I mean, it's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, and
Yeah,
that's the thing is like, you could be like, well, that's a small section of those guys, but those guys that you say are a small section, there was a woman that tried to put this like into this line graph of it, saying that there's the worst of the worst, and then there's the
I
guys who
seen that.
understand the all men.
I
Yes.
seen it. Yeah.
And then there's the ones who she's like different levels.
Hmm.
And I'm like, a lot of y'all think that you're on that far green side, but you're really in the yellow.
You're in the yeah.
You're really in the yellow. You're the ones who will kind of be like, well, kind of dismiss it. That's kind of, it's not really,
That's that
that
that's
bad,
that's
blah, blah,
that's
blah.
that's that's just how Craig is. He just
Until
goes.
all, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he just like that.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing. Like, um, that's why like they want men to speak up about that,
Yeah.
without feeling like the need that they have to get something out of it.
And see,
Um,
that's the problem when men speak out about it, right? The red pillars always got a counterpoint. He's pandering. White knight.
and we know that that women have issues
Yeah.
because guess what? They're human just like the rest of us.
Mm,
Like we know that women have issues too. There's some women out there who are absolutely the most abhorrent people possible.
100%.
Like
Yes.
no one's gonna deny that.
Right.
Um, but the focus is if we want to build a better society, better community, whether it's in the anime sphere, the gaming sphere, any kind of sphere possible, you need to be able to recognize yourself, recognize your own biases, and be able to acknowledge when new information comes up, or hey, when information comes up that's like, yo, why is this like this?
Yes.
Because at some point you're going to meet a person, or oh god forbid, I hope it's not one of your kids that goes through the last thing. My biggest fear is that, like, dad, there's a dude that's stalking me.
Oh Lord.
That is one of my that's one of my biggest fears
Man.
from my niece. I don't know the gender of my kid, but I know. But like either that dude is stalking me, or I get a call saying that your son is my is not leaving my daughter alone. It's something around those sides.
Man.
It's the well if he, it's the well if he hits you, no, you leave you keep your hands to yourself.
Right.
you know um and I want my, if I have a son, I've always said, if I want to have a son, I want my son to be able to come to talk to me if he has issues. I want my son to also go and stand and say, if something's not right, this is not right. you
Yes.
know um and this is
Yes.
coming from a person. I told my wife I was a bully growing up. I was a bully. I was
I'm
terrible.
not gonna hold you. So was I.
Yeah, I was like, I hope my kid is not like that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I will do whatever I can to raise my kid to make sure they're not like that.
It'd be one of the most heart-wrenching things if my nephew came home from school one day and said he was being bullied, and then I go up to that school and I raise all kinds of hell and I'm not paid attention to. I'm not, like I don't want that experience. The same
No.
way that I said before, I don't want him to go into any community and have to experience that. I don't and I don't want to have to say, "Oh yeah, we'll just avoid this dangerous place." No, this place that should not be dangerous. Let's examine why it is dangerous to begin with. Why the people in this place is like. Stop
Well, look at
telling
the
women to
look at the
go to.
Roblox issue.
Don't even get me started because that whole shit, like the way the CEO is treating that shit, like it just if the read the room was not a person, like just oh my
Mhm.
god, but seriously though, like stop telling women, "Hey, don't go into that unsafe space over there." Like, "Oh yeah, I know there's anime and games and stuff, but don't go into." No, let's examine why this area is unsafe. Is it the men? It's probably the men,
If
statistically.
one day, like I went snap my fingers and reverse the gender of every single man and woman in the world, only then would they finally be like, I'd actually no, let me correct that.
Eh,
I don't think they would. And the reason why is because women would not be doing the same shit that the men do.
Mm,
I don't believe it. Well, I mean, there's some, yeah, but there's definitely
yeah,
some. But I believe it would be such a different thing. They'd be like, "Oh my god, this is freaking out." They would, it's funny. Those same men who would be in the women's bodies would be more likely to listen to the women that were in the men's bodies.
yes, absolutely. I agree. I
So,
agree. If they had compassion, if they had empathy, if they could put themselves in the shoes of someone else, even for just a moment. But ew, icky, gross women. I can't do that.
well, I mean, they all got cooties.
Oh yeah, obviously been told from a young age, cooties, avoid
Yeah, they
that.
got cooties. So,
Yeah, can't do
sorry
that.
if any of the women in there, like, y'all got
Hey
cooties. I
man,
don't know what
y'all
to tell you.
got cooties.
I don't know what to
What we
tell
gonna do about that, man? Y'all need to get checked. Get checked for
you.
cooties.
You ever seen the movie Cooties?
I have not. I've not.
I think it's called Cooties. There was it was like a Elijah Wood, I believe, is in there. I haven't fully seen him. I wanted to see. I saw the trailer for it. I haven't gotten to it, but it's like the kids get cooties, so they turn into fucking like these like looks like zombie monsters. Yeah,
Oh,
and so the teachers are trying to stop them before the
that sounds
parents get
awesome.
home.
I want
And
to
I'm
watch
like,
that.
that sounds so fucking funny.
I'm gonna look that up. I might watch that. That
Oh
sounds
my god,
interesting.
yeah.
I like a
But
good.
I appreciate you being here, man. I
Oh yeah,
really
of
do.
course, man. Of course, of
Um,
course.
my question to you is, where can they find you?
So I'm Nate's Tech Tavern on TikTok, all one word, no apostrophes, no special characters. I am the Tech Tavern on Twitch. Those are the two main areas I frequent. I'm on Facebook as well. Um, I'm on I'm on Instagram as Nate's Tech Tavern again, and I'm on YouTube as Tech Tavern Gaming. Y'all can find me on those places. But I'm streaming tonight. I'm streaming six times a week. Make no sense that you miss me. Okay, at some point I'm gonna be streaming. All right.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I appreciate you having me though. This has been very enlightening. Fun fact: I just kind of took this on a whim. I've never done anything like this before. This was very eye opening. This is nice.
I love doing it.
I'm encouraged to do more of it, to try to be part of more of a community instead of just sticking to my own community.
Absolutely. And for those who know me, you can find me on Twitch or YouTube. Of course you do, because that's how you're watching this. TikTok, I have a Threads. Don't find me on there. And I have an Instagram or as well. Don't find me on there either. I post shit up there every once in a while, so I guess you can find me now. So like that's cool, but like I prefer you don't, because there's just other better platforms. So also, I will be doing more actually when it comes in terms of writing, because I like to write. I like to write my own little my own short stories. A lot of them in screenplay format, because I find screenplay format the most fun. I do. If you want to read one of them, I just quote unquote finished it.
Send that to me. I don't just play games, by the way. I want to throw that out. I talk about games. I talk about movies. I talk about anything. Okay. D&D is going to be coming in 2026. That's going to be like one of my main focuses is going to be D&D, because
Let me know about that.
I'm starting a campaign.
I'm like, okay, I'll go build a character. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, he's serious. Okay, I like to hear it. But yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. Sounds good. But for everybody else, I appreciate y'all being here as always. And like I always say at the end of like 98% of my fucking videos, I'm Taylor from Afro OG, and I'll catch you all in the next one.